Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Chase. Welcome back to a brand new video. Last week I told you guys to vote between Capitao and Jackal in the Operator Review series, and you guys really wanted Capitao. It was actually crazy when I looked at it. It was 27 votes Capitao and 12 votes Jackal. You guys just loved that Caveira video. It got tons of views and tons of support, so I want to thank you for that. But anyways, who do you guys want to see next week, Jackal or Ash? Comment down below. I love them both, and we'll go in depth on both of them. Also, guys, since that video got tons of support and tons of views within the first few hours, I decided I should really step my game up on these in-depth Operator Review videos. So some things have changed, and I'll cover snippets of the Operator's backstories, as well as go even deeper on the Operator's strengths and weaknesses. So expect much longer videos starting today. If you're not new to the series, you can go ahead and skip ahead. However, if you are new to the series, essentially I let you guys vote each week between two different operators. Whoever wins, of course, will get to be in the next video, and whoever loses will be in the poll until they win. I will go in depth on each operator and give my humble opinion on them, and giving them a final rating on what I think about them. Essentially, I'll be saying how good they are and how effective they can be used in the current meta. So once again, if you're new to the series, comment down below who you want to see in next week's video, Jackal or Ash. Sorry for that super long intro. I just wanted to notify you guys about some things that have changed with this series, but let's go ahead and dive into the Capitao Operator Review. So Capitao is part of the BOPE force, just like Caveira, who we reviewed last week. Go check out the Caveira video if you haven't. He's part of Operation Skull Rain, that is year 1 season 3, so he is a very old operator. He is also 49 years old, from Brazil. He's one of the oldest on the actual team. I think Thatcher is the only one older than him. I'm not sure on that one. His real name is Vincent Souza, and he has essentially dedicated his life to protecting Brazil from terrorists ever since his older brother was killed when he was 10. It's obviously something that has scarred Capitao for life, and that basically just gives him a reason to fight terrorism. Capitao is a 3-speed 1-armor operator, so he's going to be able to travel the map very, very quickly. His gadget is the Tactical Crossbow. It has glass bolts that can be used as incendiaries or smokes. He gets 2 of each bolt. His fire bolts also do 36 damage per second, which is something to know. If you are going to stand in this fire, you are going to die. You're not going to last long. It is very, very strong. Capitao's roles in Rainbow Six Siege essentially get mixed up. A lot of people think he is a great entry fragger, but really he's meant for area denial and flank watching. His weapon kit is the Para 308. It is very bouncy. It has very bouncy recoil. It does decent damage, however, it's an average AR. Nothing really pops out about it. Also, the M249 is the basic LMG in the game. He has the PRB 92, which is literally just Caveira's pistol, just without the OP damage, as well as claymores and stuns. Fun fact, he actually used to have frag grenades, and he was ran constantly. Upon his release, I don't think he had frags, but somewhere down the line they got added to his kit, and everyone loved him. He was so used in Pro League and high ranked, and it was just insane. He was the perfect fragger. Let's go ahead and dive right into Capitao's strengths. So bomb plant scenarios are insanely key for using him. If you want to use him very effectively, he is great in post-plant or pre-plant situations. This is because he can use his smokes to provide cover for the player, trying to plant the diffuser, as well as cut off entry points to the objective with his fire bolts, either while the person's planting or, while the diffuser is down. His fire bolts are great for cutting off key areas in the objective, as well as displacing operators. If someone's bunkered down behind a deployable shield or something like that, you can really get the drop on them, make them get out of that cover, or, let them die in the fire. Like I said earlier, his fire does 36 damage per second, which with that big of an AoE and that much damage per second, that is insanely incredible. Essentially, my only tip of Capitao is to wait and play flank watch for your team until the bomb is ready to go down, and then you just go AWOL with your smokes and your incendiary bolts. His Para 308, despite not being too strong, is great to combine with his 3-speed. I think it just works well. It is a great just entry frag gun, but it's not something overpowered on his kit like an Ash R4C. I feel like if he had something stronger than this, he would be very, very good. Another thing of Capitao that's very strong is he is great with 5 sacks or just coordinated teams in general. If you're with a team that wants to be active on the mics, or, you know, some friends who knows how everyone plays, then you're going to be able to talk, communicate, you know, tell when the bomb's going down, and use Capitao effectively. He works well with great teamwork. Capitao isn't very versatile at all. In fact, he's very situational, and he isn't necessary at all on any sites like a Thermite or a Thatcher is. However, as I stated earlier, if you are using him with a coordinated push or a coordinated team, he is going to be very effective. You will likely never see him ran by a solo queuer or low tier players because they aren't in a 5-stack or they just can't comprehend how to use him. That's another tip of mine. Do not play Capitao as a solo queuer or anything below a 3-stack. There's really no reason to, you know, use something that requires a lot of coordination when you're not going to have that coordination. As I've already said, his gadget is extremely situational. It's very good in the plant situations, but if you don't make it to those plant situations and your team gets bottlenecked, you're really going to be screwed. It isn't just something that you can whip out and get a couple easy kills with. You are going to have to take your time, aim this in, and, you know, actually think about where you're going to shoot the bolt or scan out the enemy and be coordinated and methodical with it. However, he will be commonly used as an operator on sites with very little entry points, such as Cafe Fireplace. You know, you have the fireplace that you can walk through. He can cut that off with his bolts from the window, or, you know, he can cut off the hallway door from the window, and that's just really good. That is the way you want to use Capitao. That way you can cut off those entry points from safety, and there's very minimal entry points, so it gives your team cover to get the bomb down or actually keep the bomb down. Capitao is insanely good at suffocating the enemy. He can cut off entry points, as I've already said, cut off routes to the objective, and waste time. That is a very good thing about him, is he's essentially like a smoke but on offense. Many people use smoke as a way to cut off routes to the objective at the end of a round, and that's essentially the way you want to use Capitao's incendiary bolts. Keep in mind, however, you can also use these incendiary bolts as a way to flank watch. He does get a claymore, so keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look at Capitao's weaknesses. His main use of his gadget is the combination of smoke grenades and area denial. However, I'm sure many people would rather just pick someone like Dokkaebi, who has a better gadget, as well as running the secondary gadget of smokes, and running a Nomad as a flank watch area denial operator. You can also, of course, replace him with someone like Gridlock, who, you know, in my opinion, has a better primary weapon in the F90. She technically has a better gadget because of the amount of area that her track stingers can take up, as well as her already having, you know, the secondary gadget of smokes. She kind of does Capitao just a little bit better. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is Capitao is a very replaceable operator, and I'm sure a lot of people love him and love running him, but there are definitely better alternatives in my opinion. It's much like something with Jaeger. You know, you're not going to run a Wame because Jaeger is more unique and his gadget is arguably better. So why would you run Capitao when you can run someone like Nomad and Dokkaebi together, as well as running maybe a Gridlock by itself? Another weakness of his we've already actually talked about. He's a very tough operator to use effectively. He's very situational. When done right, he is a very insanely powerful operator, but new players will struggle to use his weapon kit because it's not that great, as well as use his gadget the correct way, usually wasting them before the plant is even down. If Capitao dies before even entering the building or even acquiring a chance to get the plant down, he is essentially wasted. I understand that this argument can be made for any other operator in the game, and I understand that, but it's still definitely a weakness when you compare it to someone like Twitch or Dokkaebi, who doesn't necessarily have to put themselves in harm's way to use their gadget effectively. Once again, another weakness is his weapon kit is just truly meh. I don't like it. His primaries aren't something to go crazy about, and I still scratch my head at why they gave him a claymore when he is literally an operator who is supposed to be a flank watcher. Finally, I know it seems like I've tore him up, and I'm sorry, Capitao, but your crossbow can also be difficult to line up shots. Something a lot of people have wanted or recommended for him is the ability to put a sight on this thing, like an ACOG or just a one-time sight, like with a reticle. I think it would be a decent buff to him because you would be able to line these shots off better and maybe even get more kills with it. Some things to keep in mind that are counters to Capitao is Wame. He can stop his bolt if it's in the radius of his magnet systems. This is something Jaeger cannot do, so that's a plus up to Wame. Also, Castle can block off sightlines for the Capitao to not safely shoot from, because Capitao has nothing in his kit to really quickly destroy the barricades. Capitao is insanely good against the bandit trick. Many people don't realize this though. If it's a very close drone hole to what you're trying to actually stop the bandit trick from, or he has a line of sight on the bandit, his AoE fire gets the job done because of how big it is and how much damage it does over the time. Cosmetically, Capitao is very cool. I enjoy his backstory about his brother being murdered and his eye patch. However, I am not a fan of his elite skin. I think it's very middle of the pack in average, but I do love his afro in it. It looks very cool. Alright guys, we're going to come down into the final rating now, and I'm going to have to give him a 5 out of 10 just like Caveira. I know it seems like I tore him up in this video and he should get a lower score, and I know that, but I do definitely see the potential in him, and that's why he gets an average score. Capitao is an insanely strong operator in Pro League and high-ranked teams because of how well he works with coordination. However, let's be honest, many of us aren't in high ranks or play in Pro League. I hope if you're watching my videos, you don't play in Pro League. But like I said, I do definitely see the potential in Capitao and understand how powerful he can be in those post-plant situations, but I believe that there are so many picks right now that are better on offense other than him. Also, Capitao gets a 5 because he's not an operator that you can just pick up and do insanely well with. He takes time, and he takes a team who knows what they're doing. If I base these reviews off of Pro League, Capitao could honestly be an 8 or a 9 because of how well he works with coordination, but once again, these are just meta game rankings. So yeah, that is my Capitao operator review. I hope you guys like the more in-depth style of these videos that I'm going to start doing. I really love doing them this way now that I've done it. I feel like it gives you guys more information and it actually feels like I worked on something. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn post notifications on so you don't miss a video. Join the Discord with a link down below in the description. Comment down below who you want next week, Jackal or Ash, and I will see you guys later. Peace.